This is AC Starlord, aka Awesome. Welcome back to my channel, and this video or review is going to be about Venom: The Last Dance. Now, this one does follow right after the first movie, but you know the end credit scene that they had, where the end of Venom and Carnage, where they're like, "Oh, let's go to the MCU." They do. Let's just say they have it at the same bar in Mexico, but instead of like, I need to meet the Spider-Man, they're like, so you're telling me this purple alien dude likes stones? Like, most aliens don't like stones. They like brains. They like to eat brains and stuff like that, because he's formally talking about Venom and the rest of the symbiotes. And the bartender's like, man, he wiped out my whole family. I don't know what to say. Blah, blah, blah. And then they go through this portal. So being all gleam of light, they go through this portal, go through it, and they come back, and they're like, Venom makes a joke like, I'm tired of this multiverse shit. Like, literally says that. And then you go from the bar to him stumbling around to see these cartel people and fight them, bite their heads off, and then Venom being on the run because he has a codex on him, and Venom, if Venom's alive or Eddie's alive, Noel can see that. Oh, there we go. Noel was in the very beginning of this movie. Very beginning. Now that part right there was the beginning. The reason why I didn't mention Noel first, because Noel is non-existent in this movie. Noel is basically just in this movie, just a show face. Basically, he's in the very beginning saying, I need to find the black symbiote, which is Venom. And if any of you symbiote hunters, which I'm about to get into that pretty soon, find him, bring him to me. Basically, Noel's in the first scene. Just the first scene. Then you go from that bar scene to them fighting to, oh, you see one of those symbiote hunters, creatures looking for Eddie, and he finds Eddie, kinda, and then he's been looking. This thing's looking around for Eddie and Venom. Every time Venom shows up as Venom, that thing can hunt them. So this movie, you don't really see as much Venom as you want to, but it's, what I'm trying to say, it's a good movie but also a bad movie. The good part is you get the more development of Eddie and Venom's relationship, like the first movie, not like the second movie when he's fighting Carnage. What else? Then they're on the run because the FBI agents are working on other symbiotes, and they're trying to find this one as well. And it's just all over the place. And then you have one of the scientists has a brother that wanted to be a scientist. She didn't want to be a scientist, but they got struck by lightning. Her arm doesn't work because it got disabled from lightning. But her brother dies. She takes over his dream. There's a side story there, and then they go to having Eddie going hunted down by FBI and other people because of the last previous film, to going to Vegas. But also you do see like venomized animals like a horse, frog, fish, and I think there was going to be some type of sub-storyline. I mean, not sub-storyline, but some type of storyline with that, because you do see him go from a horse. Well, first you see him in water, find these secret agents, and then Eddie gets away from him, and then you see him inside of a fish, a frog, to get to Eddie, because then Eddie has to fight these agents on his own. He feels bad about that, and then on the month's way to go in Vegas, Venom has to fight one of those hunters, and he does on a plane, and that leads into the water scene in the desert, and then eventually Venom tells him about Noel, which in the very first movie, again, remember, the very first movie, because this is the last movie, they're not doing this anymore, Um, First movie tells him about his world, his home planet, and all stuff. And he finally tells Null that Null is like, oh. So when they try to keep him there on on that planet, and they're prisoners basically, and the symbiotes don't want nothing to do with him. And if Null gets me, I'm in big trouble, pretty much. And then from there, he gets with some hippies, and he's an IT. The guy's an IT guy now. Everyone was speculating that the guy from Spider-Man No Way Home, and even Amazing Spider-Man, that was going to be like, oh, he was going to be the same doctor. He could have been, because this is the multiverse, but it's not. No, he was an IT guy that wanted to see aliens, and then he goes with them to Vegas. Vegas, they just have fun with Mrs. Wang and trying to win money. And I was visiting, Venom knocks people out, and then Venom transforms into Venom, and that codex the Sabrina Hunter finds him because of the codex, and then they get split apart from each other. And then you get the last part of this movie, a big battle scene, which with all the symbiotes, and they do have the symbiotes because there's one that actually dies, like Venom. I mean, like, not Venom, like Eddie in the first movie. He gets a symbiote, heals him, and also by this codex, though, all these people that die should have a codex. Even the cop that was investigating Eddie, he gets a new symbiote in him, not the one that we saw in the second movie, but a new one in there, and he should even have the codex. So that means Null should be looking for these people too. And I'll get into the Null parts pretty soon here. And then you have this epic battle with symbiotes fighting, even Venom trying to distract these hunters while this hunter was looking for him this whole time. And then, I'm not going to say who dies, but one person dies, and it's not who you think it is. It's not let's just say it's not who you think it is. One symbiote survives, apparently, because all the other ones get eaten by this hunter. But yeah, there's that, and it's the last dance. But the things that the things that made this movie pretty bad was, yes, the things that took me out of it was the different storylines between the hippie, the scientist, Eddie Brock, and Venom. But Eddie Brock and Venom's relationship was the most thing that was invested in me in it that made this movie a little bit good. What made this movie a pretty bad movie was the structure of everything that was happening, but also having Null. Null has 3 scenes. They're only less than like 10 minutes apiece. The very first scene when he's telling them, hey, go get Eddie. Go get Venom, or Eddie and Venom. And then, we found, they find the one of those symbiote hunters located him and sent out this sonic boom, and he said, go get him. And then the very last scene was the end credit scene, which I would normally not ruin it in this review, but I'm going to ruin it in this review because this movie wasn't very structured right. Basically, Noel's saying, yeah, your champion is gone. Made to see, you guys have to see what he's talking about, because I'm not going to reveal what champion is gone. Just know your champion is gone. He can't save your world anymore, and I'm here to destroy it and cause havoc and cause a war. That's it. But last scene you actually see his face. But the prevalence of Null being in this movie in the background, being non-existent as actually in form, it's just, yeah, you get stuff like, his backstory from the beginning, where he's like, yeah, all my symbiote brothers betrayed me and stuff like that. You get all that, but the thing is, you do not get a flesh out story from him. You get 3 scenes, and he's just like, go get this person for me. And he's a more bigger player in the actual comic books that they based the Null story from in this movie, Last Dance. He's a bigger threat in those, because Venom becomes the new King of Black. And that storyline of comics, This, you see the King of Black, and he's like, okay, he's here. He's only here for three scenes, and that's it. He's just like Thanos in the Avengers movies, where when you first start the first Avengers movie, Thanos is in the background, but you actually do get to see Thanos though in Infinity War and Endgame. Not like this one. They set up Null. They try to set up Null. They're setting up Null to do something in the future at the end credit scene, but really, he's not a threat to set up. I mean, where's he going to go next? Because at the end of this movie, there's no, like I said, there's, when he says your champion is gone, there is no one to save it. There's no one to save the world except maybe Kraven and maybe Morbius and maybe Madam Web. But who is he going to fight? Kraven, a Morbius, or Madam Web? Like, where's his future going? That's why I'm saying, like, he should just stay in the comics. He shouldn't even be in this movie. He shouldn't have been announced in this movie. And I felt that there's no need for him. And then the hippie guy, the IT guy that wanted to see aliens, and then when he finally got to Area 51, he was like, when he saw those big symbiote hunters, he's like, aliens suck! Like, that was his whole driven point in that movie, to be like, oh, I'm here for this one reason. Then the girl, the scientist that wanted to not be a scientist but her brother died and she became one, just to living out her brother's dream, became a symbiote as well, and her arm can work, and she's the only living symbiote that's alive right now. So it's kind of an interesting contrast of things that happened in this. But Eddie and Brock's relationship was, I had to say, stronger than ever. There's the negatives, but the positives is you get a buddy cop film from Eddie and Brock, and you get to see the last few moments. And yes, Eddie, let's just say they hint New York, and Eddie goes there. Let's just say that. But that's pretty much my Venom and Last Dance video. I'm sorry if I spoiled some stuff, but I just, honestly, it's not a very good film with Noel in it. If you took Noel out of it and had a different storyline, which I swear that they had to do some reshoots, so I swear they had some stuff that they originally filmed. Hopefully they come up with a director's edition or something like this, where you get the theatrical version and the director's version, where there's still Noel in it, but some more scenes that they took out of this, or even they take Noel out in the director's cut, and then, you know what I mean. But yeah, it's just, this movie's all over the place. And it's not that I don't love Venom. I do love Venom, but this last movie was not the best way to send him off. But anyways, if you like this video, put the like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and deuces.